It all starts with a single image, one glance, one spark of inspiration. Now imagine turning that image into a story, into an entire world, without ever breaking your creative flow. What if the image you love, the one that was almost perfect, could evolve with you? With just one image character reference, you get consistency across every scene. Then you layer your world, extend it, remix it. You can even fill in the blanks, restyle it, and even add flawless text, all right inside the canvas. This isn't just image generation anymore. It's visual storytelling on your terms. It's an AI sketchbook you can take with you anywhere. Hi, I'm Jessica with the Real AI Agents, and today I'm going to show you just how far you can take your favorite image using Ideogram. First things first, let's talk about the newest addition to Ideogram's capabilities, and that is character reference. So they've now given us the ability inside of Ideogram to use one image character reference to produce consistent characters from scene to scene. Let me show you how we do that. So when you come into Ideogram's homepage here, you're gonna see now over on the toolbar, there's a character button. When we select that, you'll see that there are all the characters that you've already created. You can access even more by hitting that see more if you've got some already in there. But if you're just starting out, there's a couple of ways that you can create your character. So you can use the camera here, and you can use your own webcam or camera on your computer to take an image of yourself or someone else who's with you in the room and put that in as your character reference. You can upload an image. So you could upload an AI image of a character. You could upload an image from your phone. You could upload just a picture that you have in a file on your computer. Or you can choose from the creations that you've already made inside of Ideogram. You can pick a character from there. So let's just grab a character. We'll go with this lady right here. She's got some really identifiable features. She has very red lips. She's got beautiful green eyes. Her hair is curly and has that sort of brown-black undertone to it. She's wearing a red garment and she has a double row gold necklace on. So there's a couple things here that we should be able to transfer over. So let's go ahead and take that image, which I'm just taking this image from Leonardo. So even though I created this image inside of Leonardo, I can just drag it right on over and drop it off into Ideogram. And you're gonna see as it processes, it identifies the face of the subject that you're trying to get the consistent character out of. So let me show you what happens if I don't do any editing to this mask feature, and I just go ahead and use it as is, as you see it come through here. So let's go ahead and grab a template first, because if you're unsure about prompting and you're just getting in to play with this for your very first time, one of the easiest ways to kind of get a feel for how it works is to use this templates right here. So you'll notice that you can either choose a scene or you can choose a face swap here. So let's go ahead and face swap a character. So I've got a couple options. I can choose one that they already have here, or I can do an upload. Let's just go ahead and choose this one right here, the buyer with the little girl meme that has been out forever. So you'll see that it creates a magic fill where it's going to replace that pinked out area with our character here. And that is editable by selecting the little brush button here. I'll show you that here in just a second. But what we're gonna do is just go ahead and not do anything else and hit magic fill, and we'll see what we get here. Okay, so there we go. We do have definitely our character's face. She's got the green eyes. She's got the red lips. The hair is definitely her. She's doing the smirk. But this outfit is not what I'm going for. So let's go back to our character here. Use the back arrow. And I can select where my character is. And then you'll notice that you can change your stroke size right over here. So let's just go ahead and make a little bit bigger of a stroke. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to go over all of the red that is in areas of my character that I want to be sure transfers over to the new image that I'm creating with this consistent character. So for this character, I'm going to make sure I get her arms. I'm going to get this red dress that she's wearing, her necklace. I'm going to expose as much of her hair as I can here without going too crazy into the actual image itself. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then once I have that all exposed, I'm going to go ahead and hit save edits here. Once I do that, you'll notice how our picture has actually changed in the window now. So it's not just her facial features and some of her hair that's highlighted. It's actually showing us the full character. Now, if we take the same image, don't change anything about that, and we do magic fill now, you can see how now it's still our character, green eyes, her large red lips. She's got her earrings on. She's got the exact necklace on. She's got the red dress. We just see a little bit more of it here than we did before. She's got that mischievous smirk to her, and even her earrings are correct. You can see by exposing more of the character inside of where we can do the editing of the mask, we're given closer to that character. So if you're wanting to keep your consistent character's outfit or costume the same, it's vital that you make sure that it is exposed in the character that you want there. You can name your characters. So if you come over to these three little dots by the character, you can give this character a name. We'll just call her Lucy. And then I'm going to see under my characters that now Lucy is a character there. So one of the cool things about the characters is that you can come in and you're going to see all the images you've created under each character. So if I come over to Luna here, I can see the images that I tested Luna for. I can see my unentitled character. I can see the set where I took my own image and I went ahead and made some of those templates. I had a lot of fun playing around with those. It worked really well. I also took a non-human character. So I did this bear right here and I went ahead and exposed its full body to see if it was able to closely match what this tie-dye bear looked like. So if we take a look at some of the creations that it did here, you can see it really matched up well with the bear. It has the overwhelming pink here for the belly on every single one of them. It has the yellow where the yellow should be, the blue where the blue should be. So to be able to create that consistent character over and over again in scenes, you can see how that would be super beneficial to an AI creator. And again, anyone that you choose, you're going to be able to see the images that you made with that character. So now let's talk about when a character has some other features that you want to include in the image. So if I come in to Tess here, you can see that Tess is a fairy character. But right now, the mask is only identifying her face. So I actually need to include her wings here. So I can go over those wings. And even though that's not really an identifying character trait so much on, if you're using like a human character, if you're doing something a little bit more mystical like a fairy, well, you need her to have her wings, right? So let's go ahead and unmask all of this. And now we have our Tess fairy character revealed all the way through there. So if we choose a character, this is just an image of a girl I've used before in the past. So I can actually decide which part I want to switch out. So let's go ahead and mask up this character. I want to keep the scenery the same, but when I bring Tess the fairy over, I want her to be the one sitting at this computer setup here with all of the things in the background. So we cover her up, we hit next, and you do need a prompt in here. So I'm just going to say, keep it simple, natural language, photorealistic image of Tess the fairy sitting in her office with the computers in the background. And now I'm going to hit magic fill here. Oh no, it didn't bring her wings over. So you can see it brought her headpiece. It definitely looks like Tess. It's Tess's dress, but there's no wings. So we need to alter that a little bit. Now I'll include in the prompt with her shimmering wings. Interesting. So it didn't do it that time either. Let me try to highlight some area where the wings might be in this image. Remember, we're learning all of this together. This tool's only been out for a week. So while I have stress tested it and created many characters and many consistent character generations, I like trying new things with you guys so that we can learn together to improve our skills. So let's go ahead and do the magic fill now and see if this time we can possibly get her wings to be included. And I can see already that as it is coming into fruition, that one of her wings is there. So that is a definite plus. But we're not going to quit, right? So let's come in, see if we can highlight a little bit more wing area here. And this time we'll add seen on both sides to the prompt about her wings. Now remember, this was our original image, so it's kept the mountains the same. It's kept the purple glowing computer in the background the same. All of the things on the wall are the same. And now we've got two wings here. Now it did give her a little bit more of a cartoonish look than what I would have liked there, but that's okay because when I take that into the upscaler, I can make that a cinematic photorealistic image by using a legacy upscaler on Leonardo, or I could upscale it in here using the upscale button. I do want to point out that if you try to upload a character, for instance, let's say this astronaut here, you can see that this astronaut has the face shield down, so it's not able to detect a face. So if your character doesn't have a face, it's not going to work. You're not going to get a consistent character from doing that. If you needed to use your character in a different scene, though, there's still a way to do that inside of Ideogram. So that brings me to my next thing that I want to point out about Ideogram 3 that I've been super impressed with, and that is the canvas. So you'll notice when I come to canvas, I can come in and I'm going to start a fresh canvas here. So I'm just going to hit the little plus sign and I'm going to get rid of the prompt and the character. And this time I'm just going to bring my astronaut in and drop him right off inside of the canvas itself here. Now what I'm going to do is remove the background first. So background has been removed. Oh, that was an accident. So I can hit the undo button right here and that will undo that. But we can see it's got the astronaut revealed here. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of the parts that don't need to be with the astronaut. There we go. Much better. And I can go ahead and hit save. And now I have my astronaut. He's all alone. He needs some scenery, right? So we can come in and we can do generate right inside of our canvas here, which this is so cool. It makes it so easy to storyboard and to ideate right inside of one whiteboard here. Typically, when I'm storyboarding or ideating, I do it inside of a whiteboard inside of Canva. So to be able to have an AI system where I can do that right all in one place has been really beneficial for me. So let's say we want to put this astronaut on Mars. I'm just going to put in the word Mars. I'm going to pick my aspect ratio that I want. We'll stick with 16:9 here. And then I'm going to show you magic prompt off first and magic prompt on second. So magic prompt off is off here. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit generate. And you can see that it gives me the ability to make this bigger or smaller as it's being created. Oh, and it looks like it might have given us a character. Yep, it did give us a character. So that's okay. That was a really boring, simple prompt, so it probably interpreted it a little bit different than what I wanted. So let's actually say, you'll notice that I'm including a negative prompt by saying no characters this time. I'm telling it that I want it to be photorealistic and that I want the surface of the planet with a large crater off in the distance. Let's see if this one comes out a little bit better. And I'll just drag my astronaut right down here. While that's generating, I'll actually go ahead and show you the magic prompt on, so we can turn that on here. And all that does is make your simple prompting a little bit better for the system itself. So now you see I've got this picture of Mars here. I can bring my astronaut and I can move him all around. I can copy him. I can duplicate here. So now I've got two, one for the magic prompt, one for the non-magic prompt. I can drag him right onto my image, and you'll notice that he actually disappeared there. So what I need to do is hit these three little buttons here, and I'm going to come down to arrange, and I'm going to send that image to the back so that my astronaut is now in the forefront here. And then I can move him to anywhere I want inside of the picture itself. Same deal over here. Let's say I want him standing inside of the crater. I can make him any size that I want here, and I can place him into the image. Now, I need these images to be together, right? I can simply highlight them like that, and now you see that they move together without moving the astronaut. So that is one way to use a consistent character inside of many different scenes inside of the canvas. But there's a couple other really cool things you can do inside of the canvas. So let me pull up one that I have here. Let's just go with extending scenes. So let's say I have this scene right here that I need to extend. So it has my brand on it. It says the real AI agents. It's a woman working on the computer. She's obviously in some sort of high-tech office, but this is made to be the size aspect ratio that I would need for a short or for a story. So it is in 9:16 aspect over here. You can see that right here. So I actually need this in 16:9 if I'm going to use it in my video. So I need the full scene to be extended. So by choosing the three little dots down at the bottom, you'll see that there's an extend option here. So when I come in, I've now got this pink box that kind of outlines where my actual image is. When I come to the aspect ratio here, I can choose 16:9, and you'll see that now that box has become the aspect ratio that I need. So I can position it around the image, and then all I have to do, I can actually take the prompt right out of there, and I'm just gonna say, remember, keeping it simple. Ideogram takes simple prompts well. So let's say the woman is working in a high-tech office here, and voila, you now see that it has created that entire office scene around her seamlessly. Picked up right where her computer was, the computer in the back. But let's say I'm not really feeling that one and I wanna try again. All I have to do is move this one out of the way, extend again, choose my size again, and you'll notice that if I actually move the box to be somewhere around the image that is not just where the image is centered. Here, the image was centered. So you'll notice that if I move my original image somewhere else onto the extension canvas, it's going to place my character in about that same region where I've got her to begin with. So that's worth noting if you're doing something especially like thumbnail creation where you want to make sure that your main focal point is in a certain area. So we can see again, it extended that same character right into a new office, an all new surrounding, but again, seamless on the transition from the original image to the new image. Now, let's say I want to use this character, but I want to put her in, I don't know, an old school, non-techie office. So I could select character reference here, and you'll notice that it just grabs that character image right from there. So if I grab the character here, we'll just let it determine what it thinks should be highlighted. It looks like it's going just solely for her face there. And we're going to change this to, I always in Ideogram like to put the type of style of photo that I'm hoping to get out. Sometimes it leans more towards the sketch cartoony look. So by putting in the photorealistic, it really will help it to come out as a more photorealistic image by having that as my first word. I'm just going to say realistic. The woman is working in a retro 1950s office. And you can see that even though all of these are still on my canvas, and even the old images where I had extended the scene on here to get us ready for this video, are all on this one spot. So I can grab my ideas and storyboard them as I go here when I'm getting ready to actually put a project together. So if we take a look at the image, and I can make it bigger here so we can see, that is definitely our character in the glasses. In a retro style, she's even got a typewriter here. Look at that old filing cabinet. Like, this is for sure a retro office. So it nailed it right inside of the canvas without ever having to leave to do the character reference into a brand new image there. One of the other things that I think is really super cool about Ideogram, if you've been with the channel for a while, you know that Ideogram is one that we originally started using years ago because it was at the time the only AI system you could use that would actually get your text correct the first time, almost every time. So, if you want to see more about Ideogram, you can check out some of our older videos where we set up a fake brand and we created t-shirts and logos and all kinds of movie posters and fun things like that before they even had this character reference ability inside of here. So if you want to check out any of that as far as how to remix or stylize or any of those things, both of those ideogram videos that we've done in the past are linked in the description of this video. But just to show you the new way that you can use text inside of the canvas, if I come over here to text and I add the text to the scene here, I can type in whatever I want to put. So let's say I can type out exactly what I want. Now, if you type this in the prompt, it will likely come out correct inside of Ideogram. That's one of the really cool things. So if you've never played with Ideogram, get in here and play with it. Make some typography suggestions in your prompt, put whatever text you want. I promise you will be impressed. So now that I've got my text on this image here, I can choose how I want it to look. Let's go ahead and center it. You can see here that you can choose any of the fonts that they have on here. You can choose whether you want it medium, bold, semi-bold. So we'll go ahead and bold that up. And then you can choose your color here. You can do a specific color by choosing the eyedropper and taking a color from another image. So let's say I like the color of her hair right here. I could select that with the eyedropper and it will pop that color right inside of there. But let's go ahead and we'll just do white for this one. And you can see that now I've got my text on my image here. So all I have to do is connect those together. And now I can move them anywhere I want together with the text. I can also move the text anywhere I want on the image. So that can be really helpful if you're trying to eliminate the step of having to pull your image into something like Canva to layer your text on. It's just one less step, something you can do right inside of the system. I think is very helpful. You can certainly tell that Ideogram is listening to the creator's needs in their development of this character consistency and the way that it is so easy to use this canvas. There are so many systems where they have canvas editors that it's so overwhelming when you get in it and you're a newbie to the AI scene. A lot of times people don't even mess with the canvas. One other really cool thing that you can do inside of the canvas here is how to correct a photo that you get that you really like, but it's got a fatal AI creation flaw in it. So if I bring this photo in, you can see here, I really like the image of this enchantress in the magical forest, but it cut the top of her head off. So I need to extend the scene so that I can get the full character here so that I can use her in other images. So one way that I can go about doing that is by choosing the extend here, and then I can go ahead and grab whatever size I want to extend it to. So we'll just go ahead and use the 16:9 for right now. And remember, wherever I put the original photo is likely where it's going to create her inside of the new extended scene. So I'm just going to put her right in the middle here so that it has some space to fill in the extension of her head there. So I'm just going to put in a simple prompt like the magical forest around her, and I'm going to hit extend. And voila, now I still have the exact same magical forest, the exact same enchantress, but she's got the top of her head back. It's still in 16:9 aspect ratio, so I can use it in my video just as I need to, or I can use her as a character reference. So remember, you can just move her around. I don't need this right now, so I'll put this down here and just drop it off. I can also change it so that I can use this image in a story instead of the widescreen format. So if I come in and I do extend, I can change the aspect ratio to be 16:9 here, and then I can center her up as best as I can here, and I can extend that scene. While that's generating, we can look at how consistent these characters really came out. So if you think about the character we just created here, this was my original character, and our 916 is ready there. So you can see that from our original image where her head was cut off, I now have an image I can use straight into a story or a short. Using the character reference, I was able to generate lots of different images of that character. You can see I kept her outfit the same in some of them. gave her a whole new look in others. It really is so simple to use. It's amazing. So I hope you guys go in and play around with Ideogram for yourselves. If you do, I'd love to see what you create. So let me know what you're working on in the comments. Also, don't forget, if you want to learn more about Ideogram, you can check out our other videos. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer you the best that I can. I've been playing with these AI tools and using them in everyday creation, whether it's for work or play, since 2022. So I've got a couple of years under my belt, and if I'm able to answer the question for you, I certainly will do so. All I ask in return is that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, help a girl out in the algorithm, share it with a friend, encourage someone to dive into these tools. The future is going to be a wild ride with everything that we can create inside of here, custom content, characters across multiple scenes. It really is so exciting to watch these tools develop from where they were just a few short years ago into real powerhouse creative instruments that we can use as creators, as marketers, as people who just want to tell a story. Being able to do this inside of this canvas is so helpful. Well, that's it for today, guys. I just wanted to show you those things that have come now in Ideogram 3.0. I hope that you learned something today, and I hope that you're inspired to go create something amazing. Thanks for spending some time with me today. My name's Jessica with the Real AI Agents, and as always, keep looking towards the future.